Yes.
All right, here we go. The Lunsby Show with T-Bone.
And Chick Brew.
God bless. All these years, just get it right one time.
What do you want from me?
40 years they've been trying. You couldn't fire somebody if they were horrible, doing a terrible job for the veterans. And now you can say you're fired.
Okay. No one listens to radio.
And now for a quick disclaimer. The Lunsby Show with T-Bone
And Chick Brew.
is brought to you by nobody. We have no sponsors.
The show is still rated G.
For Gloria. Hey everybody, it's T-Bone. Did you know you can listen to the Lunsby Show on the iHeartRadio app? The team at iHeartRadio has created 2 new features on the app. You can now auto-download to your device and be notified whenever new episodes are released, all for free using the iHeartRadio app. And you can listen to the Lunsby Show from anywhere. iHeartRadio. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love. Get your laugh on and save a life. The Harrisburg Comedy Zone, in partnership with the Central Pennsylvania Blood Bank, offer 2 free passes for every single pint of blood donated. Quick clarification, it must be your blood. 1 pint, 2 free passes. That's almost the junkie rate for a plasma donation. Did you know a single pint of blood can save as many as 3 lives? Did you know the Harrisburg Comedy Zone features amazing talent from all over the country every single weekend? Did you also know that blood expires and the Central Pennsylvania Blood Bank is in regular need of donations? For more information on how you could save a life and have a laugh, visit cpbb.org and harrisburgcomedyzone.com. That's one word, harrisburgcomedyzone.com. Yes, and as a gentle reminder, this is a PG podcast. PG-13. We try to keep it as clean as possible.
I won't cuss.
And you're not much of a cusser, but just as a gentle reminder, ladies and gentlemen, in the studio, in one of those rare instances, I have with me headlining comedian, founder of the Veterans of Comedy, a friend, comedian, veteran, performer, headliner, all of the things, actor, all of the things, Mr. Will C.
It is good to be here, man. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you again, too, my friend. It is so funny as you publicly state your birthday on stage. Do not do that here. Because I tell people all the time to do not put their real birthday out there. The hackers can get it if they want it, but don't give it to them. Don't make it easy for them. But you put it out there, and I am 1 day older than you. 1 day.
Wow.
Yeah. We are both veterans. We are both the same age, almost exactly. We have both been in the comedy game for a very long time. You full-time, me part-time. I understand that there's a huge difference. We've both been in movies. We've both been in TV. We've done so many. We have been mistaken for one another on occasion.
We have. I've actually, that is a true story. I've had people, we really do look like we could be related.
We look pretty similar, and we're both adopted.
Which is crazy, because what if we're like, the birthdays are off and we're actually twins? How crazy could that be?
I think of the movie Twins, and I would definitely be the Danny DeVito of the pair.
We both have that body. I don't know, man.
Well, and we're different. We're different. You're like you were formally adopted, where I was secretly adopted.
But you say formally adopted. My sister was formally adopted. They came for a daughter.
It was a package deal?
It was a 2-for-1 BOGO. It was a buy one, get one. It was crazy because, like, you know, I was in that orphanage for 6 years, you know, and you'd have the, you know, basically the pound puppy day where they, you know, they get you cleaned up.
I love the thought of that.
And they shine you up, really nice, and they put you in your.
Okay, William, be on your best behavior today.
And so, what I would do is I would pinch the girls to make them cry so nobody'd want them. You know, I'm like,
nobody wants a crying girl. No.
So it's like, you know, they had the show and tell day, and I would just never get picked. You know, and I think because like back then, like I had the lazy eye, so I had that patch on the eye. You know, it's like, it just.
Who's looking for a pirate?
Nobody wants to. People are like, oh, man, he's already costing money. We don't, I don't know if we want to adopt this kid. But the family came and they took my sister. But by the time that happened, I mean, we were older, and so but they wanted the daughter. They had the son, but my sister's like, I'm not going anywhere without my brother. So eventually they did. They came back and got me too. And it was just a weird dynamic of where I grew up it was very just country living, and it's like I was born in the city, and it's like now all of a sudden it's like you're with this family, and I think they really just adopted to have somebody to do the chores.
Of course, a labor child.
It was child labor.
I've thought about that many times. We're empty nesters. We're thinking about adopting children just to do the labor around the house. Another thing we have in common: both work tobacco fields.
Nice.
How about this, dude? I mean, seriously, we both lived in Camp Lejeune at one point in our lives. There are so many.
Wow, that's some crazy stuff. Hanging tobacco is not fun.
No. Neither is being on the machine where you pick the tobacco. I think a lot of it's automated now. Well, I don't know what tobacco is doing these days. The tobacco fields that I worked in as a child are now all housing developments.
See, everything had to run, through like the machine. It wasn't like it is now. I mean, you were literally picking and pulling, and then, you get it to where, so it can dry, and we'd hang it in the barn to dry and hope to God that because in Western Missouri, that's like, like the cheaper brands, the GPCs and stuff. A lot of that tobacco comes from Western Missouri, believe it or not. Like, people don't know that,
Well, I was a North Carolina boy back in the day, so I was working the good tobacco fields.
Tough work. I mean, if you as a farm kid, man, you're baling hay. They're not, people a half cent a barrel, for these squares that we were throwing, But it's like as a kid, you're like, all right, well, I got $20, whatever. And it's like that seemed like a lot of money back then. And
baling hay, picking cotton, picking watermelon, picking tobacco,
snapping green beans.
Jeez, man,
that's all I did. You're constantly dirty. It's. I remember when I was a kid, we took a trip. We didn't take a lot of trips because we were poor, but I remember I was 10, my sister's 12. We go to Hannibal, Missouri, Tony, and I was a big Mark Twain fan. I love Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, the whole thing. I remember we're at this campground. I'm telling you, I don't have to shower. I don't have to do anything. And my parents, they got me like this kind of felt-looking Tom Sawyer hat, and I had a corn pipe, whatever, but my sister's 12, so she's at that age where, she's wanting to curl her hair. And,
things are a little different.
And so, like, she's griping the whole time, and I'm just in hog heaven because it's like, I'm like, this is life, man. I could have done this all day long, and it's, but that's just how you grew up, and we both did. We went in the military at a young age, and that was our life, and so, but it's weird, like, when we sit here and talk, and it's like, we do look a lot alike. We do have all these things in common, and I'm like, man, I don't know if we should take this swab or not. Like,
all right, well, and you have an Italian background, so we do not do DNA. Ever. We do not do DNA.
That would be so crazy.
I love the guys
if I
that
go up
get
in the
caught.
bathroom here and you say, like, hey, there's a cup on the counter, I'm like, I'm out of here, man.
No, I would hit you with a swab. No, we don't. We don't do DNA because we don't want to know the truth, and we don't want to possibly indict anybody.
Right?
Because seriously, the people they go in to do a 23andMe, and because of them, they're able to find a serial killer that's been unknown for decades because the kid wanted to know if he had some spice in him. No, we don't do.
I'm going to find out I was supposed to drink the Kool-Aid with Jim Jones or some stuff. I'm like, all right.
I love having you here, and anybody who's ever seen your act knows your life because you put it all out there. In your 45 minutes to an hour, depending on where you're at, you go from your humble beginnings all the way to your amazing successes, and you have a wonderful story. And I don't want to ruin. If anybody wants to know Will's story, you can, number one, go see him live, or number two, you can listen to the last time we sat together and did an interview where you basically covered all of the things. This time, I thought it would be fun because we've both been in the game for so long to talk about all the people that we know along the way in the comedy business.
Nice.
So we initially met long before Facebook existed on a place called roadcomics.com.
Wow.
And Road Comics was the best. We were just a bunch of comics that were out working the road, and we would get on this bulletin board, and we would berate each other relentlessly. There was so much fun.
I think we were roasting before it became popular.
We would beat each other down.
there's and I don't, do you remember, and we did, his name was Patrick Janka.
Yes, absolutely.
And he was out of Florida guy, and I'd never seen somebody paint their fingernails before. And he was, back then, I mean, we're talking early 2000s.
Early.
And this guy's got this, he's living in his Mazda 3, and, he's got a hot pot in his car, and it's like, but he's road dogging hard.
And he was so funny. But he honestly was very funny.
And too good looking for comedy.
He was too pretty, and I would rip him. Me and him on road comics, we went at each other often. He was PJ, I was TK, and we were ripping on each other. And at one point, I started to question myself, like, is this fake? Are we joshing, or do I really dislike this guy? And then he came to the Comedy Zone in Jacksonville, and when we meet each other, it's just a giant hug that lasts forever, and we laugh, and we had such a good time. So I think that's what the modern internet needs, is more people that can just be people eventually. You argue with somebody all you want, but eventually, you got to go hug them.
That forum saved a lot of people some heartache, because everybody, we weren't afraid to list, like, hey, this room here shorted our pay, or this room tried to pay me in chicken wings, this guy tried to pay me in cocaine.
I got drink coupons.
Right, yeah, exactly. But Patrick, I met him through that, and so when he did his little Midwest tour, he actually stayed and camped out in my driveway, and I'm like, you can come in the house, man, it's okay. But he's like, nah, man, I'm good, but thanks for, let me have a safe place to park. And I'm like, but it's just crazy, like the different people, like when you're road dogging and you finally like maybe get the shot per se to where a bigger name sees you and they like, hey, you want
come with me, you are mine.
And I'm like, I don't know if it's luck or whatever, but it's like I was very fortunate along the way to have some of the names take me out with them. I remember like John DeResta was like so cool to me when I started, and John Wesley Austin of all people, but then when I got to go out with Lisa Lampanelli, and she really showed me the ropes of comedy. She showed me how to sell, how to, there's little things you can do at the end of your show
to bring it home,
to pitch some merch. And actually when you're standing at the table to get people to buy, and it's like the little trick, she's like, always have money in your hand. If you have money in your hand, people think people have
somebody's already bought something.
So like, man, I probably ought to get in on that.
That's like baiting your tip jar. You make sure somebody can see there's money in the tip jar, because that's where the money goes.
So it was just, and she's always told me, don't be afraid to put a price tag on something. She's like, if you put X amount of dollars, don't care what the other guy's selling his for, because if they want you, and they want a piece of you, they'll pay whatever. And so she just showed me, those ropes. And it's like, even working like, with Ron White and the blue collar guys, and like, getting open for these guys, each comic, you learn something from them.
Absolutely. Well, every good... Oh, no, that's wrong. I would say you learn something from every good comic, but you also learn from the bad comics. You learn what to do and what not to do.
You know what you learn from the bad comics, Tony? Those are the ones that tell you there's no rules in comedy. The bad comics are the ones that always say the first rule in comedy is there's no rules in comedy. That always came from somebody that wasn't making it like.
Yeah. There's a lot of rules in comedy.
But then, like, if you took the people that were making it, the ones... I never... Because maybe it's age-wise, but like when I learned computers, it was DOS, it was Word 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. And so even like when you finally... MySpace was beautiful for comics because it was like a website.
It was fun.
And you could really promote yourself there. And so I kind of... I'm like, all right, I'm comfortable. And then we go to Facebook. And I'm like, oh, crap. And so you're trying to figure that out. And, you're watching Dane Cook get all these followers.
Dane did amazing.
And it was like, oh, man, everybody... It's funny the people that knock Dane along the way, but like every one of us would have killed to have.
Every one of us would have killed to be as successful as all of the successful comedians that we hated on. And we talked about this just last night again. We've talked about it before, about how we used to bust on cruise ship comics. That was the, prop comics and cruise ship comics were the bottom of the barrel when it came to being a road comic. You went to the sea to die.
That was the thing. You're cruise line comic. And
now some of our greatest friends are all doing cruise ships. One of the, I say Scott is, Carrot Top is the, and I'm big friends with Bruce.
I've seen him so many times, and it's every time the show.
He's just the best, man. He's so good at what he does.
It's phenomenal.
Anybody that makes fun of him can suck it. The ventriloquist guy. Who am I thinking?
Terry Fader?
No. I remember him from the Jacksonville days a long time ago. He's got the puppets.
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham. When he was coming up, he got so much hate. Everybody,
we all
hated him.
Like, what the hell?
A freaking puppet guy.
I'm getting like, really? I'm getting taken off the show or whatever. Like, I would get bumped for an jalapeno. I'm like, come on. I'm like, come on.
But just another one who's been so successful that many, many people who hated on him would give their souls to be in his position now. Prop comics, cruise comics, and ventriloquist comics. And I still hate comedian magicians. I'm sorry. There was only one comic magician that ever was worth his soul. And
Amazing Jonathan.
Without a doubt. Him and the girl Tiffany or Taffany or whatever the heck her name was, they were lightning in a bottle. They were so fantastic together.
Amazing John, like that.
You worked with him too.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm such a nice guy.
A little BSC towards the end.
I will say, I'm going to say it's one of the best prop comics I think I've ever seen, besides Carrot Top, is Michael Mack.
Really?
Michael Mack out of Florida has probably one of the best closers.
I love Michael Mack. I do.
His Faces of Rock.
Yes.
Is probably the...
His Whitney Houston makes me cry to this day.
But that puppet at the end, when he strips... And I'm like... So I was just down in Florida in February, and I hung out with Michael as much as I could. And he still... Man, he still keeps that hard body at his... And it's like he's still rocking that you know, it's like... It's cool to see that. But then it's like, you know, you look at comics... There were comics that like I thought I idolized, you know, that would roll through town, and I'd get to feature for him, you know, the Rob Littles and the Claude Stewarts and all these guys, and I'm like, John Reap. And I used to think Reap, like, when he would come in and I get to feature for him, and this was fresh off his, like, the Dodge Hemi days, and he would do that whole bit. As when you can watch an act over and over again, and as a comic still laugh at it,
yeah.
Now it's hard for me to sit in the room for the whole show, but I try to, because I want to see what the person, you know, in case I have something that's similar for one reason, but like I want to see how they're responding, and like, you know, what. Like last night, I didn't really mean to knock on the guy.
I caught it.
The kid was funny, but like, so here he's talking about his strokes, and I'm like, I'm in the back and I'm laughing because he's short, and he's like, he looked like Gary Coleman, and I'm like, I couldn't help us. I just said it on stage, and I'm like,
very few people picked up on it, but it was very funny.
I'm like, I did it very subtle, and I'm like, how about Gary Coleman and his different stroke, and like, did you see how long it took to, and it finally, when people did get it,
it worked its way.
It trickled around. But I was like, they were fun last night. That was a fun crowd. But you've gotten to work with a lot of really good comics along the way too. I mean, especially like coming up, like back when you were in Florida, and when I met you. And I was thinking about that today before I came over. 2001. I met you almost instantly after I came out of the military and was on the road, because I went down with Squishy.
Yes.
And we went down and did that Florida run through Jacksonville, and even down to Port Charlotte to Vasani, and did all the comedy zones that we could hit in Florida. But me and you we just clicked, you know.
We had good reason to click. We're good guys.
Yeah, it was just fun. And I'm like, the fact is, man, we're like 25 years later, here we are, you know. That's crazy.
I love Jacksonville as a home club. Number one, it's an A room, and there's very few A rooms left in America. I think you got the Stardome, outside of Los Angeles.
Right.
You get away from the Improv, you get away from the Comedy Store, you get away from Los Angeles or San Diego as well.
You get like the Comedy Catch and the Dome,
Stardome
in Atlanta, and there's still the Comedy Zone still has North Carolina, and they have
Charlotte.
Charlotte's always going to be strong, but now they have in Georgia. That's such a solid room at the tap room is solid. They've got
Charleston used to have an amazing comedy zone.
That room. Yes.
When it was in the Ramada, that was before your time. It went from the Ramada, then it went to the second deck of a sports bar.
I was going to say it was a sports. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they moved it downtown, and the downtown one was one of the shotgun houses, an old shotgun house. So it's super thin. You had like 3 chairs on the right, 3 chairs on the left, and an alleyway right down the dead center.
It didn't happen. I think they've been in business for about 35 years, right?
They've been there. Comedy Zone is like 33, I think. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a bit.
Because I started with like 31 years. I mean, I was right in with them, and it's like, because Joel just gave me a shot, and he's like, and then Chuck Johnson with Summit, Chuck was, he gave me a shot too, and
So I know Comedy Zone going all the way back to 93. So that would put him. That would put him at 33 years. That seems right.
In 93, they're
43 years.
Yes.
Yeah. But the management, Heffron Entertainment,
started.
I think was 33 years old.
So
Comedy Zone existed prior.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think they were coming in the late part of the 90s into 2000. Because by 2001 when they had been around for a couple years, and that's back when like the Zones had, they had like the Electric Cowboys and all the,
That's back when the Zone was the king.
There were so many rooms.
Everything else was secondary to what they were doing. They were such a great organization.
And it was hard to get in. So if you were in,
it was so hard to get in.
So it's like, because everybody was like, you had back in the day, it was like Yoder, and Yoder. That was like but if you got in the Zones and if you got in with Chuck Johnson, you're going
Summit,
Doug and Dana. You had all these Tribble.
Yes.
You had to go do your Tribble runs. Earn your stripes. Not make any money, but just crisscross the country.
It's good exposure. It's going to get you seen. Yeah.
But if you could get in at Indianapolis, and if you could get on Bob and Tom, then that's kind of those credits.
Or Lex and Terry, that was a big one.
Yes, yeah. And so then you're kind of, that set your way, because Bob and Tom would at least lead you to maybe not complete Comedy Central, but
they would get you to Charlotte for sure.
But remember, the Comedy Central used to have those remixes. So, and a lot of times they'd pull stuff from, and so it's like you might get a blip on. So now you've got the Bob and Tom credit, you've got Comedy Central credit, and we would really fluff those. You did, because
Janet Williams.
Oh God,
the Tennessee Tramp.
Tennessee Tramp, yes. Absolutely.
She told me a long time ago, on your resume, lie, honey. Lie. No one is checking your resume.
What's funny is, like, remember, like, you want this intro. Like, if I finally, they're like, they're already there. Do you think they really care now
where they may have seen you before? No one cares.
So, just go to the stage. That's why I kind of like, my thing coming to the stage, like, the MC will always ask you, like, how do you want me to bring you up? And I'm like, for me, it's like, I don't really care what you say other than
get the name right.
Get my name right, and I am proud of the three branches. You get and I'll take it from there. And I know that, like, when I don't know why I like doing that bit about the things I've done, but just for that stupid punchline of, like, this is what famous looks like.
I love that.
But it's like, I love the fact that because my weight has fluctuated so much, and some people, like, it takes them a minute to recognize me, And
well, you're looking great, by the way.
It's AIDS, I'll beat it. To have people finally like, oh crap, I do recognize you from St. Patty's Day episode on The Office. It's like, oh, you were the bartender, or you were this.
I did see you in Hail Caesar. I yelled out last night the wrong show. He's like, anybody recognize me? And I yelled out Storage Wars. I forgot it was Storage Hunters.
So I've told you that the funniest thing about that is when we did the pitch on that show, the original pilot was called Forbidden Storage. And so Sean Kelly, he wrote that. That's him. And so went in the pitch meeting with the networks, and here you got A&E, and you got Spike, and all these different. A&E's got the most money. They love the idea, so they run and they get theirs up first. Storage Wars comes out 2 weeks prior to Storage Hunters. So then Storage Hunters looks like it's the copycat show, when in actuality
it was the seed that started it all.
Sean wrote the whole thing. So we still, it still blew up in the States, but Storage Hunters got really big when it went to Europe.
So I don't know if you remember that, but I was telling Damian about that last night. I was like, I'm living in Spain, and Discovery Max is one of the few channels that translates into English.
Right.
And I'm watching it, and this show comes on, and I see you on the show. I'm like, holy, it's Will.
In Spain, I'm like, hey.
And then I email him, like, I did the same thing with Burt. So Burt hadn't blown up yet, and Burt, the Conqueror, was on Discovery Max in Spain.
Nice.
Or it was on one of the Spanish channels that didn't translate into English, but the subtitles were in Spanish. So I took a picture of it, and I sent it to Burt. I'm like, dude, you're on TV in Spain.
Burt's probably one of the nicest son of guns
he's too nice. He's too nice for his own good. He drinks too much. He eats too bad. I love him, but at the same time,
he's a great.
I'm so jealous. I hate him so much.
He's just
because that's everything I should be. A large, fat, loud alcoholic takes his shirt off. I can do all of that, but he beat me.
Burt would be the one guy at the store that, like, was honest with you.
If a lot of people at the store would be honest with you.
You come off stage like he would
be honest with you, and I think the nicest way.
Yeah. He'd tell you, like, hey, that hit, you stepped on that laughter. You could have done better off this. If you ought to switch the way that and just stuff like that. Bobby Lee was the same. Bobby Lee would tell you. I had my headbuttings with Bobby Lee over the years, but
everybody has.
But Bobby would still, let you know. I'll tell you who I'm really proud of in comedy right now, and is Adam Ray.
Really,
I'm really proud of Adam.
He's so funny.
Adam, when I got to Adam featured for me. I mean, we've had some road gigs that are just absolutely hilarious, and it's cool to watch his success because he doesn't forget. Like if he knows, like my wife loves Adam, and Adam loves him, and so like when he rolled through Kansas City, he's like, here's third row center and backstage passes to hang out with her. And that's the kind of stuff. Cat Williams still does the same thing for me. That's probably touring with Cat as he was coming up before he really hit it. It was really awesome. He was, and I mean, he was packing places, but not, it wasn't the Cat. Cat would if you picked up a bag for Cat would give you $100. He pulled all his luggage out of the trunk. Here's $600.
That's what I'm talking about.
Take him to the airport, and he was just like constantly, you funny, why? I can't do a Cat impression, but man, he would. He just really.
You can't do a Cat impression without sounding a little racist. Is what you're saying.
But Cat is the nicest guy, and it's like even when he would come in and like now it's arenas, but same thing, front row, backstage, hang with him, on the bus, stuff like that. It's
when it
cool.
comes to just general nice. Tommy Davidson was really just such a cool dude.
I heard that Tommy was,
but at the same time, habitually late. With no care in the world. Like the feature is out of he's done. He has no material left. He's already starting to say, "Hi, what's your name? What do you do for a living?" And Tommy's in the piano bar across the way, and I go to him like, "Bro, we got to go. You're up." He's yeah. And in just the most pleasant way possible, he's like, "I'll be there in a minute." 5 minutes later, the feature's still fumbling on stage.
Zach Galifianakis did the same thing. So Purple Onion, San Francisco, he goes across the street to the bar, and it's the same thing. It's like the feature's told to do 30 minminutes, and now it's at 35, and it's like you're sweating because you got your, and it's like what's going on? So
did he die?
And so it's like, and then they find he just nonchalantly walks in the room, but you're like sweating balls. It's but there's also a part in your mind where am I getting paid the headliner pay too? You start thinking like that. It's there's a time when you get to when you know that you can headline, and you're you got your fingers crossed that maybe their car breaks down and you're going to get the shot to do the whole show. You're like, oh man, this is going to be a great payday. And then they show up. You're like, crap. They'll bring the note to the stage. Yeah, they're here. You're like, no.
So we got a little sidetrack. Let's get back to roadcomics.com.
Okay.
A website that we both belonged to many, many years ago. No longer exists, but there were fantastic people around it. Some of the names that have done really well for themselves along the way. Roy Wood Jr.
Very well, yes.
He's done very well for himself. Believe it or not, and I know you remember these conversations, Patrick Melton.
So, and Patrick went on to have his own podcast called something
Nobody Likes Onions. Yeah.
That he did with Josh Denning, of all things, which Josh... Okay, we won't get into that. But I've done Patrick, and what a mammoth of a man. Patrick is so tall. He is so tall.
Fantastic dude,
and
but online, we were going against each other again.
Everybody, he got attacked. It was pretty.
But when he was based down in Tampa, I visited him. I stayed in his house. I did his podcast. He's a great guy, and I love him.
I did when he got to Vegas. The same thing. I did.
When he went to Vegas, and that show started blowing up. So Joe Rogan is out there saying, that he created podcasting, and I am pretty doggone sure that Nobody Likes Onions was around long before anything Joe Rogan was doing.
Patrick was getting paid way before Rogan and those guys.
He was making great money doing something nobody else was doing.
He had law firm, you name it. He had people advertising on his thing.
Adam and Eve was it his first sponsor?
Yeah,
how the heck do you get a sex toy company to be a sponsor? But he had him.
He was, and that's his place in Vegas was very very nice.
Really,
and so his podcast studio amazing, and he's pulling in money. He's got all these advertising dollars coming in. I
didn't know we were going to focus on Patrick's. I got Patrick Jenka, Patrick Melton, and was it Patrick Ward? Trying to remember. He's a weatherman now for a Canadian news channel.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
He was another guy that was too pretty for comedy.
There's a lot of those. I think God just said, you know what? Look, I'm not going to give you a good body. You're not going to be that attractive, but I will make you hysterically funny.
That's all we need.
And I'm like, I can live with that.
Yeah. I convinced 2 women in my life to marry me, and both of them married me because of my sense of humor.
That's how I got.
Or my amazing powers of hypnotism. It was one of the two. I think it may have been the laughter, but it could have been the hypnotism.
I met my wife online, and I like that what she put on her profile was, I'm looking for somebody that can quote cheesy lines from movies and just make me laugh.
And is an entertainment today by being a tall woman.
Right. I mean,
which, by the way, your wife too tall for me. I can't deal with tall women. 5'4" and below. Well, you got to go right here.
She's getting taller, or I'm shrinking. Because it used to be at least like I could kiss her chin, and now it's like, God, you need to shave your belly button. No, it's just I feel like I'm shrinking, and like we have this step stool, and I'm like I get up on it.
You pull a Billy Joel.
So I'm like
I used to take pictures with Billy Joel standing up on like the second stair next to Christy Brinkley.
I'm like, Kim, she's so tall. But you know what? I will say that. I mean, off the stage, that woman has stood in my corner for almost 23 years. And they always say in this business, like, you've got to have a cut man. You've got to have somebody good in your corner. And it's like,
get in there and fight, Rocky.
Do it for me. But she's been solid. I mean, and even through all my BS and stuff, it's not tough being married to a comic. We're gone a lot. It's like, and even when you're home, it's like you're writing or you're talking to your manager, and it's like you're constant. People think that this is what, a 30-minute a day job or an hour, whatever the club.
They do think that,
and that like we do nothing else.
They have no idea how long it takes us to get there. The prep work it takes to do a good set. Yeah,
constantly. Like even after 31, and I still daily am trying to write something, I mean, and I'm not trying to run, but I'm going to try to run a bit by it, but it's like, because I'm trying to figure this out. But my wife right now, like, she's saving all the cats in the community. Like, she's
turning into cat lady.
But it's crazy because it's like all of a sudden we have these cats in the house. I didn't want all these cats in the house, but they're all different ages and stuff. And so I'm researching, and there's like different litters for different cats, and you're trying to find the right one. And so I found this. It's called Pretty Litter.
Yes.
And this litter, like the cat.
It's got the sparkles.
So if the cat pees on it, it turns a different color, and it'll let you know like what is wrong with the cat, which is pretty amazing. But sometimes, like, I got 2 daughters, I got a wife. Sometimes I can't get in a bathroom. I peed in the litter box, and now I don't know how to tell my wife, Tony, that we got to put the cats down because they got syphilis. I'm like, it's like, so I'm like, but you're. So I write that, run it by my wife, and my wife if my wife just looks at me on a joke that I try to run by her, it'll crush. I'm like, if she laughs, I'm like, well, I can't do that on stage, She's like,
they are our worst critics. They are. They know us. I say this all the time, and I always emphasize before I say anything about my wife, I remind everyone, I absolutely love my wife, but I also believe we're all married to the same woman, and I see this on the internet on a daily basis. Reactions of other people and how their wives treat them is very, very similar. So it's a giant hive mind. If a woman is married to a comic, she's not going to laugh at your jokes. She's not going to laugh. And if she does laugh, she's laughing for a different reason. So I do self-deprecating. I do a lot of self-deprecating.
Me too.
So she doesn't laugh at it, but then I say one that maybe hurts my feelings a little bit, and then she laughs at it. I'm like, that's not the laugh you want. Okay. I do 2 hours a week of material. I do 2 shows, a 30-minute show on Friday, a 30-minute show on Sunday, and an hour-long show once a week. I do everything I can to impress my wife with humor. Very rarely do I get any response that I'm trying to elicit. But when she does laugh, I love the fact that she's a cackler. When I can make her laugh, she lets it all go. She lets it all out.
That's kind of how Kim is too. So if I can get to that good laughter, I'm like, all right. What's funny is like I try to make her laugh daily. Like
absolutely.
I want her to to laugh, and it's like at this long, it's tough to go to open mics and stuff like that, now at this stage in the game. So you write something, you throw it in the middle of your act, Kim won't come watch me perform anymore because sometimes she takes it more serious than it is. And so she'll bring her girlfriends, and, if I'm saying, whatever, when I use a bit about, her calling my junk DiGiorno. because like DiGiorno, you don't deliver, you know? And so, and then my comeback, well, maybe if the box wasn't too big for the pizza.
Ah, the box is too big, yeah.
So then she's got girlfriends with her, and she's like, I can't believe you're talking about the size of my vagina. And I'm like, it's a joke, you know? I'm like, come on. I'm like, whatever. Like last night talking about, you know, when she's like, tear it up. And I'm like, I'm not going to tear anything up. I'm going to return it like I found it.
Love
you
that.
know? You're not even going to know I was there. You know, my wife's like, why can't you just keep my name out of your mouth? I'm like,
keep my wife's name out your mouth.
And I hate the fact my name is Will C. and it's so close to Will Smith. It's like, but she's fun to write about, you know. And it's like that Pittsburgh story's true, and it's like she did lock herself in, and it was like, you know, it got funny, you know. It's like I took it too far, but whatever, you know. It's like, but you know, but that's
would she be okay? Well, no, because it's going to be real life stuff. I am very careful about what I would say about my wife in any setting, whether it be the podcast or whether it be on stage. I'm very careful, just because I've made the mistake of oversharing in the past.
See, we don't Facebook fight. I don't go to any social media about whatever's going on in my relationship or my marriage, because that is like, okay. And sometimes people are like, I am very honest and truthful on stage.
But you don't have to be.
But
it's okay to lie.
I also take stuff. The premise may be the truth. You know, I've taken it. Last night, like I stopped on that audience last night because, like, talking about suicide and stuff, it's deep, and people sometimes don't know how to take when you talk. You know, but I want people to know that like PTS is real. You know, the things that we do.
I thought it was so funny that you said something that I've been saying for a very long time, and as you start to listen to some of the old shows as you drive 20 hours back to.
Well, now you program my phone to where I can only listen to you. So,
but I have always been a proponent that PTS is not a D. I've been the same way for years. So I say it's not a disorder to have.
When you say on stage, I hate the D, it's like it just comes out wrong. But you know, I wanted to take the depression thing a little bit farther, and I was going to go into, you know, both my parents are passed now. You know, I just lost my dad.
Sorry.
And it's like, you know, I have that bit about wanting to get a tattoo of them in remembrance, you know, just their heartbeat, which will just be a straight line. You can see what I'm saying? Like, it's just too far, and people, like, they don't know how to take when you do like that, and it's like,
for the audience, I laugh, and I
love it. That's one thing I was going to tell you. I love having you in the audience because laughter produces laughter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know that. And I've watched you produce, like, they didn't get that Gary Coleman joke at first, but I heard you. But did you see, like, once people got it, and I heard you laugh in the back, your laughter brought the laughter.
I intentionally sit in the back. So, I intentionally project my laugh.
Got what I was saying,
and I got it.
And he got it too.
Oh, did he? Because he was on the other side of the room.
So he turned around and he's like, he looked at me like, he just called me Gary Coleman. I'm like, so.
But what I was saying is, for the purposes of our listening audience, I laugh. I over laugh so they know I'm laughing. But traditionally, as comedians, we don't. It is not unusual to go to a comedy club and see a bunch of comedians sitting in a room, somebody up on stage and telling a hilarious story or something, and no one laughs. It's not unusual. We'll say that's funny. You and me have both done that for years. That's funny.
I even did that last night. Watching Anthony, I'm like, that's funny.
Yep.
Instead of laughing, I just say that's funny.
But knowing that I have a listening audience, I have to laugh.
Right.
But I failed to do that when you just made the joke about the straight line. Because I definitely reacted in real life. He could see me reacting, but what you don't hear is me just a giant smile on my face.
He smiles and the head goes down.
And dropped my head down. But it was such a funny joke. So I apologize for not giving you the laughter that joke deserved. That was very funny. I love that.
People, what I'm saying is, like, death, depression. I do get deep with the military stuff, and it's like I see how they but I'm trying to tell them, like, you know, when you're talking about how we're trained, and it is trained to kill the enemy, kill them. And when I do that bit, it's real. Like, when you come and it's like you're standing in front of the mirror, and that's your enemy, and like that's what's beating you up, and it's like that's deep to people. You know, we and I'm trying to, like, just give me a second. The punchline's coming, but it's so that trip down that depression road is, you know, in a comedy show, when I was coming up, Brian Burge used to say, you know, you got 30 seconds to gauge your audience, 45 seconds, you should be producing laughter every 15 seconds with a major punch at 45. That's how your act should. And so when you're thinking about that, when you're doing these long stories, your punch better pay off.
Yeah,
it has to. And if you're good, you're tagging throughout that story. And so if you notice, like, there's always a little something under my breath, because even if it's a groan, it lets me know that they're at least they're with me and they're paying attention. And I'm like, I'm trying to look at like different, but I'm not trying to go through my act, but it's like talking about Africa and with the leopards and them taking my and the things. And I was watching last night, I was watching the VIP table, and they're like, they were so into the Africa story. They were just so into it. And when you get to the part like that I don't speak Swahili or whatever, and it's like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they've listened, and then you hit them that punch, and it's like, they're like, oh God. And I'm like, so.
I also had another laugh out loud moment when you said that. But how hard would it be for you to learn how to say shrimp dick in Swahili? I just think it would be so funny for you to blurt out a couple Swahili words.
And then say, which means...
Yes, absolutely. Don't worry. I'll send you a text.
Remember that. Yes. No, that's beautiful.
We'll figure it out. It would be so funny. And the crazy part about... And again, we have known each other so long.
That's really good,
it was you and Eric that went to Africa together, right?
Yes.
And I remember seeing you dressed up as Fred Flintstone. And I was telling Damian, like, I still have those photos somewhere.
Dancing with so I said something wrong to one of he was a junior prince. He was in line. He was Moosie's, I guess, younger brother. And whatever I said pissed him off. And he lunged me with his spear. And like they had to stop him. I thought like I think he was gonna kill me.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh,
this is okay when you are the prince. You can kill.
I was doing that dance, and they're very serious about their dance. Well, during the dance, I started doing the pony.
Of course.
And I'm like, I was doing the pony, and I started doing the butterfly.
Me is white man. Me not dance like you.
I think that the hip thrust in the butterfly is offensive. And so all of a sudden he charged me with a spear, and I'm like I've still stayed in touch with him. We've pen palled and stuff like that. His father, he will become the king here soon. I want to go back to his village. It's amazing because they worship the elephant, and all the huts are built like elephants, and so they start with a 9-foot door on these huts, and the whole family lives in there. The king, the prince, everybody, even the animals are in here. The termites eat the wood. And eventually, that 9-foot door lowers to where you can't get in anymore, and then they build another hut. And I think it was the most amazing thing I think I've ever witnessed, is being in that village, knowing that I wasn't supposed to be there.
So this wasn't as a laughter therapist. What was the title the Department of Defense gave you?
We were laugh therapists.
Therapists, yeah.
But on that, so with that trip though, that was through Armed Forces Entertainment.
Okay.
And we were over there through the Pentagon, and it was me, Eric, and Sean Halpin, which might be one of the funniest comics I've ever met in my life. That I wish he was still doing it. He just a phenomenal comic out of Texas. But that trip was absolutely. I mean,
is he out of Houston? Is he one of Slade Ham's guys?
Yeah, so Sean, yes, he is. He's out of, well, no.
If I remember, and I mean, this is digging into the memory bank.
You're going back a ways, but he started, I think, Addison Improv, and then Houston and Dallas and all those areas, but phenomenal comedy.
Old white guy, bald?
No.
Okay.
Sean is a big Marine, looks like, mammoth of a beard, very, very funny. I can't do it justice on a bit of his, but he was one of the first people to, remember when the BlackBerries came out, the phone? And Sean's bit was basically, he's like, I ain't got that kind of money, man, but I got my black friend Barry, and he's like, I called Barry up, like, what's the weather going to be like today, Blackberry? Just funny guy, man. He was just very, very talented, and I miss him. We had so much fun out on the road together. But anyway, that's
Slade was a road comics guy as well.
Slade Ham is like, oh man,
he's such a great guy. Man. I love that guy.
So we were talking there for a minute about how we kind of go into the cruise ship stuff, and how you look at all these comics that it got to where we were being made fun of, and then all of a sudden it's the thing, and it's hard to get out there. Comics are like, I don't know how many emails. Hey, can you refer me? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, the process for me to get on those ships was insane.
It took a long time.
It's the amount. What people don't realize is the amount of material that you need to work the ship, and then all the politics go with it. But it's like, with, the 2 30-minute family-friendly clean sets that can't repeat jokes in those 2 sets. 3 adult shows, 30 minutes that you can't repeat jokes. Then you have to have a 15-minute squeaky clean meet and greet for the people when they get on the ship.
At the big room.
So they can see what their things to do on the ship. Then they want you to have a 25-minute clean and a 25-minute adult that you do a split show with the other comic in the main theater, the 2,500 seat big theaters. So
and the benefit of being clean, I've talked about it many, many times. The benefit of being clean is your adult show and your everybody else show. Nate Borgazzi could do all of the shows. He could do all of them.
You get to where you actually now, if you even last night, like there were times like I
think you dropped like 3.
But for the most part,
I wasn't counting. I just heard them.
No, but I'm like, I know that I was clean.
Yeah, for the most part.
It's just that the MC, as a headliner, and I was always brought up that your feature or your MC should never cuss. Your feature should ask you.
Absolutely.
Because here's the deal. Let's say, like last night, Anthony drops it a lot. Now, let's say I do only say it 3 times in my set. When I say it, it now has no emphasis when I've looked for every other word but that word. And it's like, so I put that word in the act, but the guy before me said it, 30 times. The audience is so at that level to where I'm pretty much clean. And then when I do drop, it's like it doesn't have the impact that I want it to have. So, but listen to the set last night. That set is actually could be, and it is. It's part of my TEDx. It's part of, I combine the motivational speaking with the comedy because I want to heal at the same time that I'm wanting you to laugh and have a good time. But I've got that down to where I know that I've engaged. I have my first laugh in 30 seconds. But I also do something that you'll never see another comics. What I do with the audience to start my show.
I loved it.
It breaks tension, and everybody's now smiling and ready to take you in. And I'm like, I think it's my buddy Jimmy. I'm like, I would do it at the end of my show. But I had comics telling me that I was pandering for a standing ovation by doing that at the end of the show. And I'm like, I'm not, because I would have them sit back down. But I got what people were saying. I don't want it to look like that. I want to earn the standing ovation. So if I do this at the beginning...
I don't think anybody can do that now because you are doing it. It's like taking off your shirt. There's one guy who does it.
Burt can do it.
And he's the only guy who can do it. Everybody else is after him. If you're opening, getting everybody to stand up and hug the person next to them, and even Damian's hugging a stranger that was walking by, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
But like Todd and those musclehead guys are hugging, and I'm like,
nobody can take that from you. That's yours.
Yeah.
You own it.
So it really does.
You do that on the ships too?
I did. So they like when we were coming off COVID and it's like still having us wear masks and stuff, they wouldn't let me do it. But when they released it, to watch all those different ethnicities come together,
absolute strangers from multiple countries,
and
just get up and hug.
And it was amazing. And people would on the ship you'd run into, and people would be like, "I'm getting my 12 hugs in a day," and it's like it lets me know.
I think you need to pause there, by the way. I know you don't need to take notes from me.
No, but
so everybody gets up, everybody hugs, and you're like, all right, everybody sit down, and then you explain why they're hugging, but they're still sitting down. They haven't settled.
Let them settle before.
I would say let them settle.
That's a good. Okay.
I give good notes.
No, I like that. Well, because that's almost like stepping on laughter, and there's no point in it. And you get that, like, for him, like, to tell me, all right, like, you got 45. But I'm coming off doing an hour to an hour and a half. So now it's like, okay, you want me to... You're trying to figure out how to cut.
Do you feel rushed? And I know you got old man eyes now.
Yes.
How was the sign for you at that distance? I'll be honest.
It was actually really good.
I can't see it.
And so
all I see is a blur at that distance.
I saw like I had people in the that were lighting me, giving me the 5-minute light. I saw that.
Jimmy was giving you semaphore. He was like, dee dee dee.
Man, I'm like, is your ship going to hit the shore? I didn't know what he was. I'm like, so I saw, so I saw that, but I was watching the clock, and I could see Keith back in the corner too, and he gives the thumbs up, whatever. But I watched. I closed it when that clock stops. It goes to regular time. But I think I only went 5 seconds over when I was finally like.
You weren't bad. I remember last time you were here, you asked the audience if you could.
I went. If you remember last time, and Keith, he let me do it, but I know
he wasn't happy.
He likes to get home and on Saturday and on the Saturday night show. I think I did an hour and 20. And he was like, dude, man, you did like 45 extra minutes, man. And I'm like, or like, it was like 40 extra minutes. And but the audience, like, I got a standing ovation on that show, if you remember right. And I'm like, how can you can't take that away from me, you know? And I'm like, so.
To be honest with you, they would have probably given you a standing ovation at 45 minutes.
I know. But it was
now they're just ready to leave. It looks like a standing O, but they're like tired of sitting at that point.
Yeah. So Keith is like, hey, he's like, I want to make sure checks get dropped. He's like 45, like tonight, like if I did want, an hour tonight, I know I could have it, but it's like trying to figure out what you're going to cut out to get to the 45, because like even last night at 42, I wanted other bits. But you can't start them because I know that this is a 10-minute bit or this is that. And so now it's like I felt like I was just kind of like talking to the audience for that last couple of minutes. And I'm like...
Based on the compensation that you're getting for this weekend, I wouldn't give them a second over the required amount of time. It blows my mind because we've both worked with an organization for a very long time and the pay has been very, very good. And to hear that the pay is not nearly as good as I remember it being at one point... Very disappointing. A little disappointing. But we're not going to put them out there.
No, I don't want to do that. And I'll tell you what, I love this club.
This club is amazing.
And I love the people. The stage, honestly, the backdrop of this stage might be one of the best in the business.
It's one of the most famous.
So, and that's why you see, I mean, if you look at, I'm like...
I think it's too busy. Personally, I think it's too much. But it is very famous. When you see that stage background, you know where it is.
People, and so it's like, man, they got like Tammy's coming, Keckner's coming. I'm like Florentine. I'm like the star quality, and to actually for me like to be on that list with these comics this summer is phenomenal. And I'm just like I said, I'm just trying to keep things going until my new club opens up in September, and then I'm like,
we were scheduled for 30. We're at 53. We're going to keep it to an hour. Okay. Do you want to tell us, anybody that may be listening about the new club?
So I'm opening is the Comedy Factory. It will open in September. Our opening weekend is September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Brett Ernst is going to be my opening weekend. I'm located right outside of Warrensburg, Missouri by Whiteman Air Force Base. And it's going to be an awesome club. It's intimate. It'll be, I think we have 165 is what we'll see.
That's a good room. That's a good size room.
But I've got the joint base there at Whiteman with the Army and the Air Force, and I'm really hoping that that's going to be, my bread and butter there.
What are you thinking for ticket prices on a regular show?
$20.
Okay, that's a good pay.
That's a good going rate, and VIP closer to the stage are $35 like any other club. I do have some bigger names coming in, and then we will tier the room accordingly.
Is the website up and running yet?
So we are working on that as we speak, and we will have that up and going.
Is Jimmy going to be your barker? You going to work the door?
Jimmy's going to be my right-hand man. That guy, and I know that he's here in the room, but I would say that even if he wasn't, I probably don't know where I'd be without him right now. From the last year and just the fisting I took in Branson, the guy, I'm sorry. But he's been right there, with me the whole time. And so I'm grateful for that. And, it's in life, they say, you get the people that, you keep, on two hands, keep your friends close like that. So it's nice to have. Now, I wish we did a 20-hour drive. You only did 2 hours. I wish you would have stepped up a little more on the driving, but, so he almost drove me into a rail, and I'm like, no, I'll take it back over. So, no, I'm busting, but he helps me with everything, with merch and everything. So it's nice to have that on the road, because all it takes is like when you're by yourself, one person stops, first person come out of club and like, I was in the Air Force, and then they start talking, and I watch the rest of the audience just walk by me, and I'm like, I want people to see my merch table. And for me, like right now, I'm really pushing the 5-minute, 300-second. That's my motivational speak that I give. I do that with businesses and churches, and I want people to get that message that we can make it through 5 minutes. Anybody can make it through 300 seconds. So if you're having a hard day, if you're having a rough time, whether it's a mental picture or a physical picture, take yourself back to a good time. Hold the chip in your hand and know that you can get through this next 5 minutes. And if you can get through that 5 minutes, you'll get to the next and the next. Before you know it, tomorrow's here. You've made it through whatever bad times you're going through, and you always get to start over. So if people can just keep that in mind, it's like, and I tell people, man, I don't sleep very much. My phone's always on. My wife always laughs at, why you give your phone number out to people? I'm like, because I'd rather talk you off the ledge than you be another statistic statistic that, we don't need. And so, that's kind of my message with the Veterans of Comedy. And, people, please check that out. It's veteransofcomedy.org. Go to the website, see who we are, what we're about. We're a 501c3. We're non-for-profit, tax exempt. Anything you donate and do to my organization is a tax write-off for you. But see what we're doing, Anyway, I know I've taken a lot of your time here, Tony, today. I know we're planning on 20 and we took it to this, but it's just so good to be here and to get to hang out with you. And it's like it just flows so easily. So I really appreciate you having me today.
I appreciate you being here.
That's
when
awesome.
You said you were interested in coming back, I was so giddy, and I was giddy as could be.
So good to see. Like when I come in town and we meet and we go tear up that sushi, and I'm like, man, I look forward to it every time. And so I try to put this club on my calendar every year. And this year, like I said, it was nice to be able to come back on the 2-year anniversary of Ty and just do this weekend in his remembrance. So.
That was a nice memorial that you put up for a friend that, you and Ty together. So we both did our own things during, and I'm going to wrap it up real quick. We both did our own things during COVID. Me and Chick Brew, we did COVID conversations while we were in Spain, and we encouraged the local community to dial into us. And then I would go into the office, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, my time, or 8 o'clock in the morning, Central European time, you and Ty would come on as the Bathrobe Boys. And I'm going to tell you.
You said bathrobe.
Bathrobe, I'm sorry.
Bathrobe Boys. Bathrobe.
You two would come on, and that was the first hour of my day. And you guys, it felt so good that you were doing something, and at the same time, every night at 8 o'clock, 12 hours later, we were doing something, and it was just it was a real good time all the way around. We're going to go ahead and wrap that up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you today, as I remind you every day, just be the best person that you can be. And if you were a great person today, be an even better person tomorrow. Chick Brew will be back with us next week. She didn't know she got fired from this episode, but she gave me too much of the business for the new billboard. So with that being said, Lunsby.
Thank you for listening to T-Bone and Chick Brew. If you enjoyed that show, you should check out the Jerome McLean Show, independent media that won't reinforce tribalism. We have one planet and nobody's leaving, so let's reason together. You can find the Jerome McLean Show at the same place you actually listen to this show. Give it a shot.